Yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday night. That means it's time for another edition of SOMSpotlight presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. My name is Craig Smolders, joined as always by Rob Young. Rob, how are you tonight?
Great, Craig. I can't complain at all. A little cold today, but the sun was nice this afternoon. So, how about you?
Oh, I'm wonderful, man. We got I don't know what 34 days or 35 days I guess until April 29th, opening night for the mini stock. So we're getting ready for that, and then of course April 30th is Saturday, the main event. So we're getting ready to go for that and getting all excited about for that. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, it's coming up quick, isn't it? You want to think first of all, when there's 8 weeks, you thought I've got lots of time, and now we only have 4 weeks, maybe a little bit less, but. Yeah, I think 3 weeks from this weekend, and so I know a lot of the guys are getting their cars, putting the last finishing touches on them, getting them ready to go. And I don't. That's not something I have to do this year, but I am still involved with watching Jake and Ryan get their stuff together, and I think that this job is as much work, if not more, than racing. So yeah.
Well, we definitely appreciate everything you're doing for us, Rob. We really appreciate it. So speaking of April 29th and the mini stocks, we are going to be joined tonight by Ryan Houston. Ryan is the driver of the 92H mini stock. You'll get to see him on Friday nights this season. So let's get Ryan in here. Hello, Ryan Houston. How are you tonight, sir?
Not too bad, Craig. Yourself?
I'm wonderful, thank you. How's your off season? How's everything? What's going on over there at that homestead?
Off season's going pretty good. Luckily, there wasn't a lot that had to be done to the car to get it ready for this year. We're like 90% done. Just finishing up the paint, and then there's a couple of suspension pieces that I want to change out for next year. But other than that, I'm ready to go.
Excellent. Well, let's jump right into this. I guess growing up, were you always into racing, or how did you get introduced into racing as a child?
I would say I was always into racing. When I growing up, I actually grew up in Toronto, and my mom and dad used to take me to the old exhibition stadium when they would do their weekly shows. So I was doing that from a young age. I actually used to fall asleep before the features. I'd make it through the heats, and then features would come on, and I'd pass right out. And my mom would always end up having to carry me out. Sundays at my house, it was always me and my dad sitting down watching the NASCAR race. One of my fondest memories was my mom, my dad, and I went out to Cayuga and actually watched Dale Earnhardt race in person.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
He flew in, flew in helicopter, so that was pretty cool to see. Helicopter landed right in the infield. He got out, jumped in a CASCAR Super Series car, and actually won the race.
Well, that's a pretty cool experience, for sure. That's awesome. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, I mean, if you were close enough and you could go to Cayuga on a regular basis, there was a lot of big names came in there. I had some really good ASA shows back in the day, and like Dale Earnhardt, Mark Martin, and Bill Elliott, they both raced there, and you would. Unfortunately, that facility looks like it's closing up. That was a great place to go.
It was.
Yeah. Yep, I'll turn it back over to Craig.
Okay, so what was your first introduction to racing, I guess? Do you want to talk about the first time you ever strapped into a race car?
Well, first time I ever strapped into a race car, well, I wouldn't call it a race car, but it was a street car. My very first official race was actually King of the Hill at Delaware.
Okay.
Actually, this video that we're showing right now, it took a lot of finagling. But the neon that I'm in this race is actually my mom's car. It took a lot of convincing to get her to let me do it. But so I went out. Used to go to Delaware constantly when I lived in London, and went out, ran the King of the Hill, and from then on, you could pretty well say I was hooked.
Awesome. How'd you do in that King of the Hill anyway?
So that race we showed, I won, and then when I lined back up for my second round, I was up against a guy in a Mustang with full slick tires, and the flagman threw the green flag, and by the time I even got through first gear, the Mustang was going through coming out of second. So I was like, well, that was fun.
Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, I've watched a number of those King of the Hill races at Delaware, and it's great entertainment. And unfortunately, some of those street cars get wrecked, and you wouldn't want to have your mom's car out there and wreck it. I don't think that would be. I don't think she'd be too happy with. But that's what happens. These guys get these cars out there, and they go roaring down the back straightaway and crash. And it's great entertainment, but guys got a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah,
anyway, carry on there, Craig.
Yeah. So I forgot to ask you, what year was that? Do you remember what that King of the Hill was?
I want to say maybe 03, 04.
Okay. And then you dabbled in drag racing a little bit, I understand. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So once I finished high school and started, driving myself, had my own vehicle, I got into the local car scene in London, and that seemed to be what everyone wanted to do every Friday, Saturday nights down at St. Thomas Dragway. A couple times, it was all street legal stuff. It was nothing super crazy. A couple Sundays I did go down with a few of my friends and we did some bracket racing. So with bracket racing, it doesn't matter what you're driving; you're just racing the clock.
Okay.
I've actually found the times I've spent drag racing, I noticed this year really helped my reaction times on green flags and restarts.
Okay, that's interesting. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You have quite a variety so far there, and in like the King of the Hill and drag racing, and now in stock cars. But you don't. How old are you? How old are you right now?
I'm 37.
Okay, well you're getting up there, so you better get yourself into a late model here as fast as you can. Jump a few of those positions and try that out. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, so you're at the ripe old age of 37 for sure. But so you've had enough of going in straight lines. You've had enough of going on the asphalt. Now you want to try your hand at dirt track racing, and you jump into a mini stock. Talk about that a little bit. Your first season and how all that played out for you.
So my very first season was actually the beginning of COVID there back in 2020. Decided, why don't we, do racing? I mean, we researched the mini stock class, and it's a good class. I mean, you don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to compete. And I mean, we found the car for sale, like 98% complete. We had to finish the exhaust on it and bolt in a seat and a battery, and we were good to go. I did a couple of events when they were doing the Operation Green Flag stuff. I did one at Marrittsville, and I did one at Humberstone. And then when Henry finally got the track to the point where we could hold practices, I think I was out there every weekend that we had practice. I was out there that year, and unfortunately, the very last practice of the year, I broke the center out of the right front wheel, and instead of turning in turn 3, the car went straight, as you can see in the bottom picture. Wasn't much left of that corner when we got her off the track.
Okay, and you said you raced at Humberstone and Marrickville a little bit. How'd you do down there?
Not very good.
At least you're being honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Marrittsville, my first time ever racing on dirt, and I went in thinking that I was going to do a lot better than I went in thinking I was going to do a lot better than I did. I can honestly say the mini stock program in Niagara Falls is leaps and bounds ahead of what we have, but they've also been developing the program for a lot longer than we have.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, I was there. I was there the night or the day Ryan crashed into the wall there, and yeah, he tore it up pretty good. But yeah, you're out there practicing. I know you struggled there a little bit. I forget. I remember you came in, either you had some overheating problems or something, but you were working the bugs out. That's what you do when you practice, and you get out, and at least that happened in practice. Didn't happen when you were racing, but that's a good looking car. I like the blue on that thing.
Yeah, that was
So
a. I like that. That was a fun little paint job. It was quick. The car when we bought it was bright pink.
yeah,
And
that
you
looks
turned it
good.
blue? Awesome. So I know that you said you grew up in Toronto and you lived in the London area also. I don't know how old you were when you moved to like the Leamington area or whatever, but were you a fan of South Buxton Raceway or Southern Ontario Motor Speedway, whatever way you want to say it? Like, did you go out there and get interested that way, or how did that all come about?
So trying to think here. I guess the year really doesn't matter. But a friend of my wife's actually invited us out to one of the fun nights. Um, so we've gone out for that, and I mean it was fun. I mean it was fun night. So um, there wasn't a lot going on. But we went back in 2019. We actually went back and we started regularly going, and that's pretty well when I kind of got hooked on it.
Okay. And like you were pretty well interested in the mini stock right away, or just for budgetary reasons you decided the mini stock, or like how did you land on a mini stock to start your racing career?
Well, budget for one, it does tend to be a budget friendly class. I'm also a really big fan of the lower powered race cars, not because I'm afraid of high horsepower, but because I find with the lower powered cars, your skill kind of shows a little more. You have to develop your skill a little more. You don't have 400 or 500 horsepower behind you to correct yourself in a mistake. You have 150.
Okay, awesome. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, Ryan. It's actually more like 900 horse now, but yeah, some of them 500 horse gets the job done. But yeah, so it sounds like it. I know you've got your wife, and you mentioned you have 4 children.
Yep.
And they all get involved in the racing program, do they?
My 2 daughters do. Um, my car last year, so the white car with all the fun paint job that we have the paint job itself was actually designed by my oldest daughter, and I mean both of them when we're working in the garage, they both want to be down in the garage. My youngest is, if I'm under the car, she's climbing underneath the car with me. My oldest at the track, she helps me when we get the car unloaded, she helps me get tires ready for it, and we get the tires changed and air pressure set. So, I mean, it's fun that at least, half my kids are into it.
Well, that's what I mean when I was looking at these pictures earlier, and I saw the kids involved, and it's a great feeling when your whole family is involved in it, and makes it a lot more fun. Also, I noticed some of the kind of the theme of your car is related to kids.
Yeah.
There was the Lilo and Stitch sticker on there, and I know you're going to get into that as far as as your wife is concerned, but that's Ohana means family, and the Lilo and Stitch thing, nobody gets left behind, and that's really cool. That when I saw that, and the fact that your other sponsor, the GOC Guardians motorcycle, and I know you'll talk about this, but it all ties in, like the way that the car was painted, and this is all kid related, and I'm sure a lot of kids in the grandstands can recognize that, and they, that's a cool thing. Kids see things. I'll give you an example. When my kids were small, you could be driving down the 401, or you could be, any interstate, and they see a big McDonald's sign up in the air, and I didn't even see it. These kids see that, so they see the Lilo thing, and they can identify with that. That's pretty neat. So when you're going around the track, kids in the grandstand see that. Also, I'm looking at that roll cage you were putting in there, and I'm sure you'll talk about that too. But the fact that the seat bracket and everything is welded right to that roll cage, that's really important. A lot of guys just will stick a cage in there, and the seat doesn't get fastened properly or where it should. But I see that's a good thing. When I saw that, I said, man, that's pretty cool. Where'd you get that cage from?
That cage. So my old car, the blue one that we saw in the last slides. Like I said, when we bought it, like I said, it was 98% race ready. Well, when I had the wreck in practice, we looked at fixing it versus just building a whole new one, and the cost to fix that car versus building a new one were the same. So we opted to build a new one, and I literally cut the cage out of the old car, and we just transferred it into the new one.
Yeah, that's, as I said, it's just something that sticks out to me when I see that kind of stuff. It looks like you and your wife are actually putting the cage onto the chassis, or on the chassis there. But that's really cool when you see that. Somebody's really thinking about the safety end of things. So, all right, I'll turn it back over to Craig before I steal the show here.
Yeah, and I just want to add to what he was talking about very quickly. I know that you had your junior fan day, and the kids, all the kids came down, but my kids came down, and then they went and signed the hood and everything. And then, when they see the car running around on the track, we painted that car, we rode on that car, whatever. So, yeah, that's a pretty cool thing to do with all the kids stuff. So, anyways, we're going to move into 2021 now. Talk about your season a little bit. What was good? What was bad? What worked? What didn't work? How was 2021 for the 92H mini stock car?
So 2021, I definitely learned a lot. My first couple races, I did get a little. I was nervous. I will not deny that I was very nervous my first couple of races. And I started finally getting into a rhythm, and then right towards the end of the season, I guess the bad luck monkey kind of jumped on my back, and so it started off with a stack up right on the green flag. The 747, he missed the shift, and then my teammate Mark plowed into him, and then I plowed into Mark and took out the hood, the rad, ripped the throttle body right out of the intake. So unfortunately, it kind of finished my night there. Got the car back together. Took a couple weeks to get the car back together. Got the car back together. Was having a really good run in the feature my first night back, and the knuckle broke on the right front. So that ended my night there. Got the knuckle fixed. Got the front end of the car put back together. Went out the next weekend, and the fuel pump quit. So put a whole new fuel pump in it. And went out for our championship night, the shootout night, and the track was a little slicker for our first race than I used to, and I looped it in turns 3 and 4, and got T-boned, and the T-bone getting hit was actually enough to shear the battery cable right off the battery. And then so I got the car kind of put back together, went lined up to go back out for our 30 lapper there, and the car died on me, and I just could not get it to refire.
So it sounds like your first season, it was quite an expensive learning season, I guess is the best way to put that. You're constantly fixing, but I mean that's part of the way it goes. And you guys all did an amazing job, all the mini stock guys. I mean, obviously we didn't have a lot of cars out there, but you guys did a great job. You put on a good show. I mean, I enjoyed watching you guys. I know some of the fans enjoyed watching you guys. So, and you're going to be out there on Friday nights this season, so that's going to be pretty cool. You guys are going to be the main show on Friday, so talk about that a little bit. You looking forward to that kind of stuff?
I am. I mean, I love our class. I mean, I'm hesitant about how well we'll do as a headlining class, but I mean, this kind of gives us an opportunity. I like to say, put up or shut up. It gives us a time to to basically show the fans what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that if we can get enough cars out there with enough capable drivers, that we can put on a good show, that people are going to want to come out and watch us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're going to have the vendor market going on out there every Friday night. We got a whole bunch of different games, and we got some pretty exciting stuff we're going to be doing for you guys. So hopefully the fans will come out and watch you guys. You know, it's pretty entertaining racing. You guys bouncing off, you know, your buddy Ken there bouncing off the cars and everything. So it's pretty fun to watch you guys, and I think a lot of fans would enjoy, you know, come out on a Friday night and watch you guys for an hour or whatever. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, you know, Ryan speaks of all the kind of the bad things that happen to him, things that break, and I mean that's part of racing. But he finished 7th in the points this past year. That's pretty stout.
Yep.
You have to know what you're doing, Ryan, to finish like that. So with all that adversity, it's you've done a really good job, and I'm pretty impressed. I like the way the car looks on the track, and it just and again, going back to the car being painted by kids and all the children themes that you have, that's a good thing. It's going to keeps the kids in the stands entertained. I know Jimmy Dale has the SpongeBob stuff on his car too, and same with Dylan Bonner. They're all geared to the children being entertained as well. So my hat's off to you guys, doing a great job. And again, you had all that adversity, yet you still came back, and you finished 7th in the points. Good for you. So I'll turn it back to Craig.
All right, so I know you guys are big supporters of the community. You like to get out there and do things, especially in the off season. Talk about some of the things you guys have been busy at all off season with the different things you're supporting in your community.
Well, we were so at the end of last year, we did do a couple of the Santa Claus parades in the local community. We went out to Kingsville, and we went to Leamington's. The beginning of last year, we started working with a not-for-profit organization called Guardians of the Children. It's a motorcycle club that helps abused children basically face their abusers. They help the kids in the courtroom, and they give them a sense of security. And when we heard about them, we're like, this is definitely an organization that we want to get involved with. We want to do more with them. Unfortunately, 2021 didn't allow a lot of opportunities to do that, mainly because of the COVID restrictions that were in place. But I know that they want to do things like charity, baseball games, bring the kids out, barbecues, meet and greets, things like that. And for sure, this year when the stuff gets off, I mean, my team's going to be there, the car is going to be there. We'll just try to help this amazing organization. And actually, one of the things what we're trying to do for them is we've got a Honda Acres Racing decals that we got made up last year. We're selling them, and every one that we sell, actually, we donate the money to GOC.
Wow, that's amazing.
Help them with their cause.
That's absolutely amazing. Congratulations to you guys. That's cool. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, yeah, that organization that was started back in 2014 out in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Actually, it was started by a fellow by the name of Black Bison and his wife Red Feather. They're Aboriginal people, but they felt a need for children to be looked after, and this organization has now grown. I forget how many provinces it is now. Great organization, really good people, and again, back to the theme, and I can tell just by everything that you've said in your car, you and your wife are very interested in the well-being of young children, especially those that may not have as much as others. So again, I think it's a great organization, and the fact that you're giving that back to the community, and even the Santa Claus parade. And again, kids notice all that stuff, all of those logos, like Lilo and Stitch. I'm an old guy. I notice it too, but I can't. I know the power of this because, as I said, when our kids were small, you drive by a road that has a McDonald's or a Burger King or something like that on it. Kids, they see that symbol, right? And all of a sudden, bang, they know that. And that's what, and when they see your car and those type of things on there, that kids see more stuff than we think they do. I know they do. So my hat's again off to you. Congratulations on that. Okay, Craig.
So if somebody wanted to purchase one of those decals from you that you just held up, how could they do that?
Just shoot us a message on Facebook. 100 Acres Racing is the Facebook page. My wife takes care of it, and she's pretty quick at answering messages. So if anyone wants to purchase a decal, like I said, just give us a message on Facebook, and we'll get them right out to you.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. Fans support that cause. That's a great cause. Congratulations once again on that. So 2022, what's 2022 looking like for you, Ryan? What's coming up next season? This season, I should say.
Well, I'm definitely hoping for improvement. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, some of the work that I am doing on the car for this year is beefing up the suspension. I want to limit the amount of breakage. So I'm deciding to, like I said, upgrade the suspension, and I want to get a win. Whether it's just a heat win, or if I can pull off a feature win, that would be amazing. But yeah, I want to get the 92H in victory lane at least once. Keep consistency going. Run more up towards the front than I was last year. I was, middle of the pack last year. And just get out there and log laps. The easiest way I find that I can get comfortable in the car is just seat time. And I'm hoping that I get enough seat time this year that by the end of the year you'll see me out there slicing and dicing for the lead.
Well, that would definitely be awesome to see. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
No, but Ryan, I'll give you a piece of advice that somebody gave me a long time ago, and with a famous racer, and did very well. And he told me, he said, never pass on the entrance to a turn. Always make your pass coming out or down the straightaway. You set them up going in, whether you go a little bit higher and drop down, go underneath it. But if you want to avoid any wrecks or cause any wrecks, just try not to pass on the entry to the turn, especially if you're out front in you're coming up on lap cars. Never pass them on the way in. So it's just a little bit of advice somebody gave me a long time ago, and never forgot it. It helped me, especially I wasn't leading very often, but when I was and I came up on a lap car, and I thought about that. So just something to think about. If it helps you, great. In about 20 years, you can if you see me, you'll say, "Hey, thanks a lot for telling me that." So it's just a little tip.
I'll definitely keep that in mind.
So Ryan, just out of curiosity,
Yep.
What would be the end game for you at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway? What would you call a successful career? What would be a bucket list thing for you at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway? Is it jumping into a late model, or what's your plans for the future at our track?
I'd say Thunderstock would probably, I think, be about as high as I want to go. I mean, as cool as the late models are, I mean, unless I can get a really big sponsor on board, I don't ever see me being able to afford one. But a Thunderstock for sure I could see as an end game. But I'm also perfectly happy staying in a mini stock for my entire career. It's a great class, and I have a blast every time I'm out there. Yes, I'd like to move up, and a thunder stock would be the end all be all of it. But if that never happens, and the only thing I am able to do is run mini stock the rest of my career, then I would consider that a successful career.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, racing's racing as far as that goes, right?
Yep.
Definitely. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, I don't. I think you usually you open the show, Craig, by asking them if there's any other hobbies they have, or ask them about their car number, how they came about that. But so how about if I ask it? What do you do if you're not racing, or maybe like what do you do for a living through the week?
Heavy equipment operator. That's what I do during the week. And then when I'm not racing, either spending time with my kids, or I build models in my downtime. Uh, Plastic models, tanks, spaceships, boats, um, and then I'm in the garage with the car. That's about it for me.
Well, that's pretty impressive. I mean, you never know if you decide not to continue on with the racing. I'm sure that the track's going to need somebody to operate some heavy equipment. So it's always good. It's better if you can find somebody with some experience, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and the model thing. A friend of mine, he's an older guy, but he's been building models all his life, and sometimes he even has to manufacture parts for it. But yeah, that's a hobby that takes your mind off everything else, doesn't it? Just doing something like that, kind of like racing. You forget all about the stuff during the week. But what about the car number? Where'd that come from?
So the 90. So when I bought the first stock back in 2000, I was actually working with one of our mini mod drivers, Dave Johnson, and he's the 29J. So I literally just inverted his number, and when we started running our own team, my wife said, do you want your own number? Like, do you want to change the number? Do you want to keep going with 92? And I literally sat there and thinking back, all the famous race car drivers that I know. I'm like, you know, I can't really think of anybody else that I know that runs the 92. So I was like, I'm going to stick with that and kind of make it my own number. Only to find out that the first time out there, it's like, oh look, there's other 92 at the track. But it literally there wasn't a lot of initial thought into the number. It was just an inversion of Dave's number, and then, like I said, I decided to keep it when we're doing our own thing, and I'll probably use it for as long as I can.
Oh, it's good to know. I mean, yeah, you're 37 years old, but you're still a young guy. So you got a long way to go. And again, I know I mentioned this before, but it's really cool that your whole family is involved in it. I know that was helpful to me to have my kids and my wife on board. I could just imagine. I mean, I've seen guys that go racing and their family doesn't want anything to do with it. It's not much fun. When you can do it as a family, man, those memories they just keep piling up. So, congratulations! You just keep up the good work. All right, I'll turn it back over to Craig.
All right, Ryan, do you have any sponsors that you'd like to thank to help you make it through the season?
Yeah. So I do have a couple sponsors. Picked up a few new ones for this year. Actually picked up Ferris Car Wash came on board actually today. Reed's Funeral Home, they renewed their sponsorship with me. Dwayne's Auto in Leamington, they're setting me up with some stuff for the car this year. And then Renew You is my mother-in-law. It's her Reiki services. And then I also want to thank from last year. I want to give a big shout out to Ken Frazier, Larry Rollo, and Ryan Beaulieu from Team Cuz. They helped me immensely. The two big times my car was down, They came to the rescue with a good chunk of the parts. So without them helping me out when I needed it, I wouldn't have been out there as much. So I want to give them a shout out as well.
Awesome. Yeah, we all need a little help out there. And social media, you guys out there on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, or what's going on out there in social media land?
Yeah, so we are on Facebook, which does carry over to Instagram. I know my wife does some stuff for Ohana Acres on TikTok. So I think if you look us up, she's got some stuff on there. Um, I've been toying with the idea of doing YouTube stuff. The problem is, as I found out last year, I can't keep the GoPros clean enough to really get some decent video. Uh, but I may try to keep plugging away at that. So hopefully this year I can get some YouTube going.
Excellent. And if fans want to support you, if fans want to buy some swag, you got some things out there you guys got available for purchase for the wonderful fans to buy?
Um, Not to the point that a lot of other teams do. A lot of, like, all our shirts, our hats, my wife actually makes them all. Uh, if there is something in particular that someone does want to purchase, like I said, you can give us a shout out. Talk to my wife. She can definitely set you up with something. And I mean, we do, like I said, we do have the Ohana Acres decals as well that are going to help out the Guardians.
Okay. Rob, do you have any more questions for Ryan?
Yeah, he makes me, if I had a race car, he makes me want to put some of his stickers on my car. But oh, again, it's a lot of you young guys are the future of the sport, and I'm glad to hear that you'd like to move up to Thunderstock, and yet I also hear in your voice here you're realistic. That it takes a lot of money to go racing, and you don't just jump right into something. You kind of migrate towards it, don't you? You start out in one division, and maybe you get in another division, and you start collecting parts along the way, and before you know it, you've got all the things that you need. It just took you a little longer to get there. That's all. But we're glad to have you out there. You're well spoken, and I enjoy watching you. So again, can't miss your car.
Nope.
But I'm always, when I see stuff like that, like the paint job that he had, and it's interesting to know all the stories behind, isn't it? How did you get that? Yeah, it's good to talk to you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
And
we
also,
want to thank. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I do want to thank you guys for doing all this, and for keeping us a place to race, because without a place to race, we're really not much.
Yeah, well, we want to take this opportunity to thank you very much for joining us tonight. This has actually been a really fun interview. I've enjoyed this interview. I mean, I like all you mini stock guys. So anytime we get an opportunity to talk to you guys, it's always a good conversation. So I just want to take this opportunity also to wish you the best of luck in 2022 season. I hope you guys have a great season. Looking forward to seeing you guys out there on Friday nights with the vendor market that we have going on out there and all the other stuff. So fans, make sure you're checking out our schedule. We got our Friday night schedule out, so check that out and come out and support these mini stock guys. They're a lot of fun to watch, that's for sure.
We try to be.
Yeah, you guys do a great job. Thanks again for joining us, Ryan, and I wish you all the best of luck this season.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, you're welcome, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Take it easy.
You too.
Well, there we go. Now we know a little bit more about Ryan Houston, Rob.
Yep, and again, when you see stuff like that, the Ohana Lilo and Stitch thing, and all about family, nobody gets left behind or forgotten. That's the Lilo Stitch thing, and I know that the GOC, or the Guardians of the Children, that is a large organization, and that's all they do is they raise money, nonprofit organization, to help out kids that may have come from an abused family, or just don't have the opportunities that a lot of kids do. So I see that all over his car, and I can tell just by talking to him and his wife, and that they're very family oriented people.
Yep, absolutely. Well, this has been a very fun interview. This has been SOMSpotlight presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. Thank you once again, fans, for joining us. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. That's SOMSpotlight on YouTube. Also, don't forget to check out the Southern Ontario Motor Speedway Fan Zone Facebook group. Get in there. We got all kinds of things in driver's registration and whatever going on out there. So make sure you're checking that out. Rob, are you going to join us again next week?
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we got Laura Authier, the Thunderstock driver. Laura Authier, she's going to join us next week, so that'll be a fun conversation. She had a chance to race with Brad a little bit last year, so we'll talk to her about all that kind of stuff and see what she has to say about that, and if they're going to eventually wreck each other, which we hope that they don't, but you never know, right? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. We will see you next Monday night. SOMSpotlight presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Good night, everybody.